It's 5 p.m. and time for the regular schedule, August 13, 2024, meeting of the Niagara Fair School Board. Board members and visitors, please silence your cell phones and electronic devices as to not interrupt the meeting. I thank you for your cooperation. Board members, now that we're required by law to televise these meetings, please speak clearly and loudly for the camera and all of our viewing public to hear what conversation. We've had comments from some of the public that our board members are not speaking loud enough. I'd like to recognize some visitors, Dr. Janet Pope and Ms. Kelly Lubbock with the Louisiana School Board Association, Representative Gabe Furman, District 22 State Representative, our new NSU President, Mr. Genovese, and our Mayor, Connie Williams behind us. He's hiding in the back. Thank y'all for coming.
Another jacket.
Mr. Nicholson, can you offer the invocation?
Yes, sir.
Harvey, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir.
Please stand. Bow your heads.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Rutherford, please.
Mr. Dancy.
Here.
Mr. McGuire.
Here.
Mr. Benfield.
Here.
Mr. Harris.
Present.
Mrs. McGaskey. Here. Ms. Palmer. Here. Ms. Phelps. Here. Ms. Harvey.
Here.
Mr. Fredu. Mr. Nicholson.
Here.
And Ms. Page. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. President Genovese, we like to offer choices, so that's why we have two flags, and so you. We do the same thing, but half the room's here, half the room's there, okay. Superintendent Elon, you take us out.
Yes, sir. So in my superintendent report, it's mainly other folks. So we want to first start with Ms. Jennifer Ingram. If y'all recall, we had a really great back-to-school bash that included, I don't know all the details, she can probably speak it better, but people from all around the community. I think we had 1,200 people show up. We gave away backpacks and all sorts of swag and free pizza, and we had a lot of sponsors for that. So she's going to come up and recognize some of the sponsors who are here with us today, and even some of those who were not able to make it tonight.
Hi, good evening. All right, so part of our Back to School Expo was we did ask for sponsorships this year because we do have partners in our community who want to help give back to the community. So I'll just kind of go through the list. We do have several here. Blue sponsor would be King River Charities. Then we have some yellow sponsors. And so part of, I can tell you their sponsorship is, and I know some of them did do this, they get lunch with the superintendent, and they're real excited about that. Also, they're going to be able to, we're going to display their names in our boardroom for a whole year, their company names, and then depending on their levels, they'll also receive an all-access pass to the games, the season games in town. For any school. So a yellow sponsor was Atmos Energy, City of Natchitoches, which the mayor is here to represent them. We have Copeland, Alliance, and then International Paper. International Paper was a sponsorship, but they also purchased water bottles for all of our kids. And so they did not get the water bottles. I just picked them up this week because they were on back order, but we are starting to disperse those to the schools as well. So they purchased about 1,000 water bottles for all of our students as well, which you know that all of our schools have the refillable water stations, and so that's very handy for those as well. Also, as an orange sponsor was the Best Man Company, BOM, Donahoe Law Firm, Natchitoches Restaurant Group, and Payne's Lawn Service. And then green sponsors, we had Citibank, Exchange Bank, Mended Mental Health, Pelican Broadband, which we have some representatives here for them. And they were also a vendor, so we were excited to have them. And Vaughn Value. Our other sponsor was Domino's Pizza, who kindly donated pizza to all of our people that came, which was over a bunch of pizzas. I think it was like 500 pizzas or something crazy. It was over $2,000 worth of pizza. So all in all, we had over $11,000 worth of donations, which was great. And we did use that, some of that to purchase backpacks, but we had enough money left over to purchase some hygiene kits that will go in all of the school's closets. So there's hygiene kits that kids can take home with soap, combs, toothbrush, toothpaste, and that type of thing that will be in their school closets that they'll receive also. So we were very thankful for all of them and their sponsorships. And we did have over 1,200 people in attendance, and we already have our date on the calendar for next year. So we look forward to a good year next year as well with Northwestern, which is also a partnership for us and letting us use their Coliseum. So, do you have any questions?
I just want to say thank you because it was an amazing event and it would not have gone the way it did without those sponsors. And also thank you and your team for making all that happen.
You know, Ms. Ingram, everyone was there early. They were set up, they were prepared. So when the students and their parents showed up, it was well organized and well run. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Can I ask that we take a picture with the sponsors that are here, please, so that they don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting?
Is that just me or with the whole board?
It doesn't matter. However you want to do it.
You want to? How about we get them up in front of the board and we take a picture of that?
Perfect. So Pelican.
Oh, sure. That'd be great. Yeah, we should probably stand up. Stand right in front of them. We'll get out of
You do like it?
Sure, yes, because we use your facilities.
Taylor was there.
Yeah, we use your facilities, so, sure.
Oh, no,
Squeeze in between.
I don't think I'm blocking you.
All right, you ready? All right, I like to say 1, 2, 3, cheese, like we do with our students. 1, 2, 3, cheese. All right, gotcha. All those smiles, faces.
So, President Benfield, next on the agenda, I don't have this lengthy bio, but I know those of us who have those bios get sick of hearing them anyways. So I just want to say, NSU graduate, former tennis athlete, former lawyer, former Supreme Court of Louisiana judge, and now president of NSU. I can tell you, we're already starting out on a great footing. We've already had a meeting. I think the partnership that we've continued to nurture under the previous administrations will continue to flourish, and I'm excited to introduce to y'all President Genevieve.
Good afternoon. I must say I'm still a little bit confused because when I went to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I guess I went and looked at the wrong flag. I was hoping you would at least give me a little bit of
Don't look for me for guidance on anything.
because half of the board looked this way, and I didn't know which way to look. But that's okay. There have been times where I didn't know which way to look. But anyway. I had an opportunity yesterday to appear before the city council. I'm the new kid in town, and I'm probably the oldest new kid you'll ever run across in that regard. But it's good to be back in Natchitoches. I've been away 53 years, and actually still have some buildings there that I went to class in, and just had lunch at the Iberville Dining Hall, which was there. I had not been in that building to have lunch in 53 years, so it was quite an experience, and going back in time. I've met so many wonderful people here that have been so supportive of the common goal that we have. And what is that common goal? The common goal is one word. It's very simple. It's called education. That's what you're in it for, and that's what I got off the Supreme Court to come here and pay homage and respect to the place that helped put me where I am and that's Northwestern State University. You always have to remember which side your bread is buttered. And even though I did not like the fact that my daddy drugged me up here to go to school when I wanted to go to school at USL in Lafayette, because I'm born and raised in Opelousas, and still live in Opelousas when I'm not working at the college. But my father said he happened to be a biology teacher, and you a biology teacher up in Northwestern. And so he came and got me out of school, and he told me, get in the car, we're going to Natchitoches. And I said, where? Natchitoches. I said, well, that's up north somewhere, isn't it? Yes, sir. It's up in, I said, why are we going there? He said, well, there's a college up there. And if I like the college, that's where you're going. And I said, whoa, hey, time out. Wait. I'm going to USL, okay? Well, son, this is the deal, okay? You go to USL, you pay for it. You go to Northwestern, I'll pay for it. So even though I struggled with education at that point in time in my life, I wasn't that stupid to say that 4 years later I graduated from Northwestern, and that's what helped me be here today, and that's what the stepping stone for me to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court up until Sunday before last. But in any instance, I'm here to work with Northwestern. I'm here to basically to enhance the enrollment that we need, because getting the enrollment back in Northwestern is a win-win situation for everyone involved. We're all part of the chain, and as I explained to the mayor, I need you on my team. I need you on my team, because what's going to happen is if a chain is only as strong as the weakest link, and we can't have any weakest links. And our goal is the city is suffering with population decline. We are suffering with decline in enrollment. It's not peculiar to the city. The same thing is happening in Opelousas and other cities across the board. And the same thing with enrollment is happening not only to Northwestern, but it's happening to all of the other students. All of the other universities in the system. So the four-year college and what you have here in Natchitoches at Northwestern is a diamond in the rough. Okay, it is a jewel. Every morning when I walk out that door, I look at the beautiful setting. It hasn't even rained since I've been here. This is a heck of a place, man. I'm so impressed with it. This jewel that we have, I want to get out in the street and I want to go and tell the people to say, look what you have here. You have Northwestern and Natchitoches. I can give you everything you need from an education standpoint, because education is your goal, education is my goal, and I cannot tell you any other institution that I can go to where I can give you as good an education as you can get from Northwestern State University, which is relatively inexpensive, I might add, which a number of scholarships that are available to you. And I can do that, and you can get a degree where you can go out, take that degree, and get a job and become a productive element of society. And that is what it's all about. Retention is important, and getting people to know what you have here. The problem is people don't know the jewel that we have here. We've got such a great institution when it comes to, you name it. You name nursing, you name education, you name sciences, you need the performing arts. We've got it all. And we've got some new buildings going up. We've got a state-of-the-art building that we have there in the Robert A. Ross building that no other university in the state can match that. We're doing some major improvements over there. We've had some problems. We all know what they are, and I don't want to go back through them again. All I can tell you is that we're rebuilding. Okay, we've gotten knocked down, but we're rebuilding, and we're coming back strong. And I'm really excited about what I see. I've never seen so much support like this, because it's so very important for us to all put our hands on the rope and pull. Because if we lose students at Northwestern, that means the city of Natchitoches is going to hurt, because people are not here to buy your goods and services, Mr. Mayor. And we need the school board, we need parish government, we need the mayor, we need Northwestern State University, because Natchitoches is the oldest city in this state, and it has great potential. But if you think that you can do it by just putting a billboard out on I-49 and getting people to come here, you are sadly mistaken, because it hasn't worked. So I ask you please to go ahead and join us, and then one hand washes the other, and they both wash the face. So let us go ahead and join together and bring people back to Natchitoches and bring people back to Northwestern, and make sure that we have a good, solid education system, which you all provide. I've already met with the superintendent yesterday, and fine man with great ideas. And also, at 6:30 in the morning, I met with the lady on his left for a breakfast on the river. And I normally don't get up at 6:30 for other than fishing or for duck hunting. So it was quite an interesting thing. But it was heartwarming to see the number of students there and the people that care about those students. So if we care about Northwestern, if we care about the students, if we care about education, if we care about Natchitoches, then we need to do this. And all we can do is go up. All we can do is go up. And I need your help to help me go out and spread the word, to go talk to the parents, to go, this is what you all deal with. I need to go talk to the parents. I need to go talk to the teachers. I need to go talk to the principals. I need to go talk to the coaches. I need to get them to say, come here to Natchitoches, come to Northwestern, we're open for business. We're going to give you a good, inexpensive education with buku scholarships, and it's a beautiful place, and you're going to get the education that you need. And we're all in it together, so let's just join hands together, and let's go out there and do it for the giver if we can. I thank you for allowing me to meet most of you. I've met some of you. I want to meet all of you. It's an open door policy. If you need to reach me, my number is 337. My number is 94 Judge. I haven't been defrocked to the point where if you need to reach me, it's worked for 29 years and it's still there. 94 Judge. But it's 337 because it's in the Opelousas area. My door is open. My phone lines are open. I'm here, and let me just say this. I'm not here to lose, okay? I'm not here to lose. I'm here to win. And I'm here to win for Natchitoches, and I'm here to win for Northwestern, and you're part of that program. And I will leave you with the words of Big John. Some of you may not be old enough to remember Big John, but I remember Big John. I'm talking about Governor John McKiffin. And he said, and it's classic, won't you help me?
President Genevieve, we'd like to present you with a,
And get out of jail card?
only if you get detention.
Oh, I can wear that.
Can we?
Not the same Landry.
I think they're going to take a picture of it.
I want you to know that I played tennis with a guy that works for the school board. I was playing tennis before with a guy in Opelousas, and because I moved to Natchitoches, I had to stop playing.
Wear this next time.
I want to wear this when I see
You've
you.
got a lot of good things going on in Northwestern. We know that. In fact, you've got a new one in the social work. You've got a master's in social work in that department. I mean, those guys are really, they're moving forward. You got a lot of good things. Like you said, you've got that new building going on. It's all positive. It's all
We
great.
got new softball field, we got new baseball field coming in, we got a health and performance center being built, but nobody knows about that. If we don't get the word out, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, this is our sponsor, but we're going to show this for the picture. Yes, sir.
All right, you ready? All right. That's what you wrote. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you so much.
How did you know I was extra large?
We only have, actually, everyone tonight's only getting extra large. It's the only sizes we had left.
One size fits all. Right.
All right, next on the agenda, we have one of our legislative delegates, Representative Gabe Furman.
Well, y'all would make me follow President Genevieve. I think it's obvious Northwestern's got the right man for the job. Such energy and enthusiasm and excitement. I guess his first day on the job was last week, and he was at a back-to-school get-together for Rapides pair of students, and then he was at an event in Pineville, and I can't think of a better spokesperson, somebody. There's nobody we'd rather be the face of Northwestern than President Genevieve. And hey, how fortunate are we to get a state Supreme Court justice to step down from the bench and come to Natchitoches. So thank you.
Thank you.
And, well, I am in esteemed company with Dr. Pope, Dr. Eloy, Justice President Genevieve, Reverend Harris. So, but it's good to be with y'all this evening, and I just very briefly tell you a little bit about myself. It's been a couple years since I've been here. Then I'll give you a legislative recap, but District 22 state rep. I represent all of Grant Parish, most of LaSalle Parish, and most of the city of Natchitoches, and a little bit of Natchitoches Parish south of the city. The district has changed a little bit with redistricting. I'll tell you this. I probably hear more about education than just about everybody in this room. That's because when I go home tonight, I'm gonna hear about it, because my wife, a Northwestern graduate, by the way, is the principal at Pollock Elementary School. And so, got two kids in Grant Parish Public Schools, 2 grandkids now in Grant Parish Public Schools, and of course my wife's the principal, so big believer in the public school system for sure. And that's where our future is. And for me and Mayor, I think you'll agree that when you evaluate the strength of your community, you start with your schools, your churches, and your people. And those are really the 3 legs of the stool that we have to stand on. And so we got to have strong schools, strong churches, and we got to have people who are in a position to prosper. And I think we've got those ingredients here in Natchitoches. I think we've got those ingredients in central Louisiana. So it's kind of my opening remark. Now what you really want to hear, the boring stuff, and that's what the legislature did, or how the legislature may have disappointed some of you last session. We worked very hard. We stayed in session essentially from January through June, two special sessions and regular session. My life for 6 months was consumed with insurance. I'm the chairman of the House Insurance Committee, and as important as education is, if you poll citizens across the state, insurance is probably the #1 issue. And we find ourselves in a crisis not only with property insurance as a result of the hurricanes that came through, but also automobile insurance. So I was extremely busy on the insurance side of things during the regular session. We had great success, and I'll touch on a couple of those things because it's very pertinent to the school board members. And I don't even want to speculate as to what you're paying for your premium now, but I know it has gone up tremendously. I'll give you a little good news. We passed a very comprehensive package of property reform bills. The governor signed them early on in session. We're already beginning to see positive feedback. Just got back from London with the insurance commissioner. We were visiting with Lloyd's of London. So Lloyd's is one of the biggest insurance markets in the world. In fact, I would venture a guess that the school board policy is most likely underwritten by a Lloyd's of London underwriter. But you would not believe the positive feedback we got from the Lloyd's brokers and underwriters, and they pay attention to what happens in the legislature, and they said we made all the right moves when it comes to property insurance. Talking with Jeff Powell, superintendent in Rapides, they actually saw their school board policy decrease, which is a very good news to hear. Hopefully y'all will experience the same. You know, it's gonna take time, but I know that's a big expense for you, but we had some luck there. We're in the process of looking at what we can do further on the auto insurance side, and so I'm in the thick of that discussion, and we're making progress. Just a few things specific to education. Dr. Poe, Dr. Enoy, correct me if I say something wrong, because they probably followed this more closely during session than I did, especially since I was so focused on insurance. So let me start with the fact that the legislature did renew the teacher stipend, $2,000 stipend for teachers, $1,000 for support staff. And of course the question is always, well, why in the world didn't you make that permanent? Hey, trust me, nobody in this room would rather that be permanent than me. But we've got a lot of uncertainty with the budget. In fact, there was a meeting earlier, or towards the end of last week, where we looked at some projections for the coming years when it comes to the budget. and we're looking at a $580 million deficit with the general fund. Next year, that goes up to close to $700 or $800 million 3 years from now, and that's because we've got a sales tax rolling off the books. We've got a stagnant economy, and so we are potentially looking at a major deficit. So it's just responsible budgeting, not locking that pay raise in. But look, budgeting's all about priorities, and from my perspective, nothing more important than taking care of our teachers and support staff. So I'm optimistic, and I think the governor would love to see us establish our priorities and make permanent teacher pay raises something that we have locked in going forward. So optimistic that we can figure that out, although we do have some budgetary challenges. Of course, we're very generous in allocating money to things like differential pay, high dosage tutoring, early childhood education are all initiatives that the legislature realized were important. And so I think we did commit to doing some good things in those areas. Just briefly, you've heard talk of constitutional convention. Dr. Eloy gets scared, Dr. Poe gets scared to death, right, when we start talking about constitutional convention, because we've got some buckets of funding there that are protected. Well, President Genovese probably is in favor of a constitutional convention. And this is why, because the way our system is currently configured, the only, for the most part, the only discretionary funds of any significance in the budget is higher education and healthcare. Everything else, our hands are tied, and the legislature just does not have any flexibility. So it's very important that we protect MFT, that we protect teacher retirement, things like that. But at some point, we've got to figure out a way to give the legislature some flexibility in budgeting, so we don't have to cut higher ed and healthcare every time we're looking at a potential deficit. So I am in favor of, if not necessarily a constitutional convention, to amend the Constitution, at least a surgical approach to maybe looking at Article 7 of the state constitution and freeing up some money and giving the legislature some flexibility. Hey, well, look, we're answerable to y'all. And if we do something you don't like, we're going to hear about it. And I'll mention this, boy, it makes a difference for me when I see Reverend Harris and Dr. Eloy and Billy and several of you have been down to the Capitol, and makes a difference. And we need to hear from you. We need to hear from the School Board Association, the Superintendent Association, so that really helps when we hear from our constituency. Educational savings accounts, another one of our favorite topics, I know, and people get nervous and they start getting heartburn. Philosophically, I think it's a good idea. I'm an advocate of giving parents choices when it comes to their kids' education. So you've probably heard that we passed an educational savings account bill. I would say we passed a bill that establishes a framework for an educational savings account. So you don't have to get too nervous. It's subject to appropriation. Given the budgetary outlook I just gave you, we're going to have to, it's going to be a judgment act to find funding for that educational savings account. It's something that would be phased in over a period of years. We don't even have a timetable yet for phase 2 and phase 3. So again, philosophically, I like the idea of giving parents choices, but at the same time, there needs to be accountability for that money. And I know that's something very important to the public schools, to the superintendents, and I can completely agree with you. So Bessie has been charged with the implementation of that program. The legislature needs to stay out of education, as far as I'm concerned. We need to fund it and tweak it here and there. Let teachers teach, right? We've all heard that, and Superintendent Brumley has overseen this effort to come out with these recommendations. I think somebody in Natchitoches was on the task force, I believe, that came up with the recommendations.
I believe so, I cannot.
Ms. Curtis?
Yes, Diana Curtis.
Diana Curtis, and so they come out with some recommendations that essentially says, let's take some of this ancillary non-classroom duties off our teachers. Let's make discipline a priority and give autonomy to teachers. In other words, let's let teachers teach. Let's do it. Let them do what they do best. So I think that's going to make a difference. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the direction the legislature is headed. We can talk about the 10 Commandments. For the life of me, I don't understand what's controversial about the 10 Commandments. It's certainly whether you're a religious person or not. It's just a moral code. It's certainly a historical document that's been foundational to our legal system here in America. And I would say consult with Bessie, stay in touch with Bessie on implementing the 10 Commandments bill. I think January 1st is the deadline. If you got any problem finding sponsors or folks interested in funding, let me know. I don't think funding that initiative is going to be a problem at all. So again, from my perspective, and Reverend Harrison and I have talked about this, but from my perspective, God knows we need some morality in our society today. So you know where I stand on 10 Commandments. Also, firm believer that taking cell phones away from kids. Mine have flip phones. They're the biggest nerds in school because they have flip phones. But I think it's a good idea to let kids go to school, be educated, not to play on their phones. And we passed legislation to remove disruptive students from the classroom, to make it easier to expel students for possessing knives and drugs and things like that. So I think we're moving in the right direction when it comes to education. Dr. Eloy and Natchitoches are doing great things, and I mean, y'all are to be commended. I know you've made tremendous progress and are performing at a very, very high level, although the goal is to do better and better every year. But if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Lee?
Every year we have to attend all the laws that y'all have passed every year. And can we back off? It's like 150 to 200 laws every year we have to study. And a lot of them are passed with unfunded. In other words, it costs the district money and they're unfunded.
Yeah.
Of course, that's my concern. An example would be, I have no problem with public disclosure of public records. It's just the time it takes to research it all, get it all done. Somebody wants 3 pages of something, it's easy. Somebody wants some person asks for all purchase records for the last 5 years. Well, they have no idea how many documents that is, and to get all this done, it really takes a lot of time to do all this. It's a lot of funding for us to get this done.
In 5 years, I haven't filed an education bill, but
Just if they could back off.
but I know. Look, I hear a great example of that, and I can't remember if the superintendents gave us a forenote on this or not, but the bill that requires you to pay teachers for participation in extracurricular activities and working the ticket booth at football games. Let me tell you this, legislator, we cannot vote against that bill. All right, so politically, if there's a bill that says you're going to pay teachers more for doing more work, we can't vote against that. Now, the problem is, it was an unfunded mandate, okay? So that's where we need to hear from Dr. Eloy and Dr. Pope. And
Many floor notes on that one, right?
yeah,
Many.
yeah, but it's so politically, man, we can't vote against teachers, and but those are exactly the kind of thing you're talking about. I think there's been some workarounds there, and I got like I was focused on insurance. Never crossed my mind that bill was problematic until Dr. Stokes and some of these other superintendents started calling me. Where are we going to get this money from? So I agree. And in fact, I had the department send me a list of all the bills earlier today. I had no idea we passed that many education bills. Speaking of,
200 a year.
and real quickly, I guess our broadband guys left, but I think you will be interested to know that we've got $1.3 billion federal dollars coming to Louisiana. We passed legislation that's going to allow us to spend that money for rural broadband. And I know it's been frustrating, but it's just a matter of time before we bridge the digital divide for good. It just takes time to roll it out, but it's coming. I mean, there's no excuse for every single student, even in the most remote part of Natchitoches Parish, to not have access to affordable and reliable high-speed internet, and that day is rapidly approaching.
Well, I'm going to present you with your
All
shirt,
right.
and I want to make sure you wear it next time you see Dr. Stokes.
I will do that.
Dr. Pope, can you take another picture of me?
Sure.
I'm going to send this one to Dr. Stokes too.
And I have not gotten
I
a
might be
T-shirt from them
Oh,
either.
there you go. You can actually.
They usually make me pay for their shirts.
Not Natchitoches.
All right.
You buy that one too, we'll take it.
Gotcha.
All right, sir. Okay, thank y'all very much. Yep. And I know most of y'all have my cell number, but if you want to jot it down, it's 318-201-6769. Please call me. We're voting on legislation. I'm not the expert. I live with the expert. Okay, but I want to hear from y'all. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
very much.
Then next on our agenda, President Benefield on the superintendent report. If y'all recollect, we've been, for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, we've been going through the policy revamp. I think if Ms. Kanika hears the word policy one more time, she's going to freak out. But I want to say that the policy team has completed their work. We will not be able to vote on the policy this month due to some logistical, not concerns, but some logistical hurdles between us and LSPA and really the technology and everything. And she just exited the building. But that was going to be the introduction for Dr. Pope, who wants to come up and speak a little bit about policy and also about, they've been touring the state going over good governance and things of that nature. Ms. Kanika, would you be ever so kind, thank you so much, to tell her she is now.
While you're waiting,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Eloy, I know you mentioned about sponsorship for Take Advantage. And the reason for that is because we can't actually spend money. And so hopefully we will get sponsorship. I'll sponsor Beatitude. But
So, Dr. Pope, I was just telling them about where we're at with the policy. We've completed our task, and now it's just some probably red tape and nitpicky stuff between us and y'all to get.
Time to vote on the package.
Exactly. You said it better than I, and we'll vote on that next month. But we'd now love for you to come and speak to the board and
Sure. Thank you.
tell us what you have going on with LSBA.
What we have going on with you guys, for sure, we'll start with. First of all, thank you so much. My name is Janet Pope. I'm the Executive Director for the School Boards Association. We represent 630 school board members across the state of Louisiana and all 69 school systems, traditional public schools. First, I want to start by saying thank you so much for inviting us. I have one of our new team members on our team, Kelly LeBeau. We are very excited to add her to our team. We're a small staff. We're 4 full-time employees, but we are a lean machine, and we're proud of that. Yesterday, we were doing training in West Monroe with Union Parish School Board. They are about to embark on hiring a new superintendent. And John Geis and I were reminiscing about Natchitoches Parish because I always use Natchitoches Parish as the model of good governance and what they use for keys of good governance. And so John and I were like trying to figure out how long has it been that Dr. Eloy has been the superintendent. So we figured 4 years. And the things that we were reminiscing about was keys to good governance for board members starts with their role and their responsibility. And it's real simple. It's 3 very important things that our board members do across the state. And the number one most important thing that they do together as a board is hire the right superintendent. And I'm here to tell you that you have definitely hired the right superintendent. 4 years you've been working on your keys to good governance. They're always at trainings, learning great things, and of course bringing that to the board floor. And one of those is the policy manual, and also working very closely with the budget. And so Lee, I want to thank you and your staff as well, working closely with them, because they definitely complement you guys as well. So their policy manual, their new policy manual is about to be launched. Yes, we're going to call it launched. They've done some really great work in the policy committee. That's where they're rolling up the sleeves on what the policy happens. So basically, Kelly and I have been traveling the last week across the state, visiting with our legislators, board members, and other local government agencies. When we stop to visit with our boards, they'll ask us to go meet with their police bureau, to go meet with their college, their university. So again, congratulations, and look forward to tying that bow on that gift that you are about to deliver to your district, because it will definitely tell everybody what they need to do with their policies. So, thank you.
And you stay up there, because you just heard and I guess we can get a picture.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all know me, I'm always sharing the love. And I'm a Southwest Louisiana girl, Cajun girl, and I hug everybody and love them. Thank you. And I want to brag. What university you got your EDD from?
UL.
Uh-huh.
But master's from NSU and bachelor's,
I got one
undergraduate.
from NSU too.
Undergraduate from LSU, which is, the one that.
That's where you
Most-
had fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, one last thing on the superintendent report, y'all. I think last meeting y'all asked for first week count of all schools. And I think I sent them all. Do y'all have extra down there or no? Do y'all have to do one more? Okay. So as you can see, this does not include pre-K students, and the reason it's not on board docs is because I think I told y'all I was going to run this morning, so it'd be the most recent. This does not include pre-K students. It'll also Miss Felicia. Her team is working right now on no-shows. These are students who have not shown at all. So those students aren't reflected in this at all either, because principals were told today to start going in and coding no-shows. So this number, again, it can go up, it can go down. The good news is, as of right now, we're only 20 students down from the October 1 count of last year. So that's good. That's good stuff. That could go up, that could go down, and so then it's listed by individual schools. So if y'all want me to report on this in September, I can, because it's probably going to look different then. Yes. And then obviously October, I will report again. But even October, I know it's the October 1 count, but we actually have until October 30th, I think, to get the count correct. So the real official number you would get in the November board meeting. So. Questions, comments, concerns?
So how many
12th grade on here?
Oh my goodness. It's included in the total, but I must have deleted that column as well. I apologize, yeah.
So when Golden closed last year, what number it was? I see these 90 kids now.
When y'all voted, and I just remember this off the top of my head because we were talking about it at that meeting. When y'all voted to allow the tax, that was in March. We were at MFP students 103. Where y'all at now? 90. So 13 student difference. Neither one of those numbers includes pre-K students. whether it's the 103 or the 90 number. Neither one of those numbers is pre-K.
So we've got
Because remember, those are federally funded students, those are not MFP.
I think there's a few federal, few of those kids that are on, that are probably not included here because they just showed up, turned up this week.
Correct. Again, there's up and down. A lot of the people who've been doing this for years, they say you can't get a real good idea until Labor Day. So I want to make sure everyone knows that these are numbers as we know it right now, but it's going to be very fluid until, and that's why they give us till October. So.
And so being down 20 students system-wide, that's much more optimistic than we had projections for, so that's great.
Correct,
So,
but I will.
We're stealing students from someone. That's okay.
Yes, sir. The one warning I'll give you is it's a benefit, but it's also a little scary. With Miss Felicia's team being so involved in this, and I mean, they're calling parents, everything, we're gonna be more proactive about finding no-shows early. So your October 1 count, there may be a little dip, but what's good about that is then we don't have to pay back money in the February 1 count. So you might see a little more of a dip, but that's because we're being so much more proactive and we're not carrying kids that we shouldn't be carrying. So.
Lee, do you remember your projected number?
Yes, it's about this year. I have an October and a February. The October is estimated at 4,721.
So we're about 56 from that. I'll be honest with you, I think
If it's north of that, all is good with the budget.
yes, I could see us being in that area just based on, because I had a conversation with Miss Felicia today, and I'll know probably by next week how many no-shows. And then the idea is that hopefully not all those no-shows will be complete no-shows, but some of them, they moved to Texas and they've never enrolled anywhere. So, all right. And that concludes my superintendent report for the month of August.
You know, before we wrap up that portion of the agenda, I'd like to thank Ms. Harvey, Ms. Page, Ms. Phelps, Ms. McGaskey, and Ms. Palmer, and myself for the hard work that we've done on this policy team. It's a lot of meetings, a lot of time, and of course, Ms. Kanika.
Ms. Kanika's done the lion's share. I'll say that.
And we have to include Dr. Bigelow in our force. But no, guys, it's a lot of work that went behind the scenes, a lot of extra meetings, a lot of time, and we've actually gotten pretty good at it. So
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
okay. Board members, I'd like you to consider the consent agenda.
I will offer.
Second.
Offered by Reverend Harrison, second by Mr. Dancy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, information reports. Ms. Rashout.
Good evening, everyone. Have a couple of updates. ESSER, which is quickly coming to a close. We did some amendments that were submitted and approved, change orders for the main central office, relocation stipends to include, retention stipends to include certified and uncertified staff for school year 24-25. I believe Dr. Lloyd spoke to you about that last time. And then just to add the winning vendor and amounts for our technology vehicles. These are just necessary things that we put in place when we make any changes to our ESSER budget. So it's just being, anytime we submit amendments, it's a quick turnaround, and that the state is looking, reviewing, and sending back, hey, go forward. Because, like I said, September 30th, 2024 will be the final date for these funds. I did include a table that outlines a summary of the allocated funds from ESSER that were drawn down as of 7/24/2024. We're looking really good. We are where we need to be. Our goal for ESSER 3 evidence-based funds is 3 pots of money we have left in ESSER was to get to 0 by the end of June after summer school, and we did that. This month, we should see ESSER 3 incentive, that's that second column at 0, once we do our reimbursement request for those funds. And then we have a very strategic plan on how we are going to expend that $4.6 million. And so we feel very good about where we are and not leaving any funds on the table from ESSER. Any questions on that?
What will that 4,675,12 be used for mainly?
We're finishing up our capital projects, retention stipends for our certified teachers, relocation stipends, which we've already paid out. They should come out this week. That was over $400,000 for our relocation stipends. So we basically, in a nutshell, we're putting it into our teachers, into our curriculum for our students, into technology, as well as those approved capital projects that have to wrap up by the end of the grant period.
And board, just so you know, she comes up here with these nice presentations and everything, but this has been, remember, Ms. Rachel got thrown into this midstream, and no one is ready for ESSER to be over more. I don't know, we might compete on it, but I think she wins. And this is, every time that we have changed something that requires an amendment, it requires her going into EGMS. So she doesn't hear it enough, but she's done a phenomenal job on strategically helping us to expend $30 million over the course of 3 years. So.
Thank you. It's been fun.
In that entire time,
spending that amount of money.
that entire time, you've seen this district grow, and that's important.
And that's very much so. Some additional items for our super app for school year 24-25. The budget that I shared with you in June is still under review, and this is typical. There are a lot of districts, there are a lot of items that they need to examine and make sure that we have aligned our object codes appropriately. So we anticipate that being approved soon. Early childhood funds, I have to say, when I took this position, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we started with about 13 early childhood funds because money was aplenty out there after COVID. Now we are down to 5. Early childhood saw a cut on the state level to the tune of $9 million. But we're in a good position because even though we are, we no longer have those grants, we've been proactive in preparing for those funds to go away because they were COVID-related funds. And so we have still been able to reach our goals, and that is to provide a high-quality public pre-K program for our students in Natchitoches Parish, as well as support our early care and education centers, our Type 3 child care centers, which we have 8 of those in our program. And so I wanted to just provide you an outline of the funds that support those Type 3 early care and education centers. As the lead agency, I have that amount for you. We are also the Ready Start Network, and we use that fund to really collaborate with our Type 3 child care centers and provide coordinated enrollment opportunities so our families are not going all over Natchitoches when they're trying to decide on the best location for their child birth to 4 years old. Our early childhood education funds, which cannot be used for public pre-K, we're very excited about these funds. With the help of the Rapides Foundation, we're at a little over $1.2 million, and so we just launched 70 new full paid scholarships for families so that their students can attend a quality early care and education facility, and the response has been amazing. The early childhood team has been working non-stop Our goal is to do a 5-day turnaround on when we receive the applications to verify their income and match them with the childcare center that best fits the need of their family. So we're really excited. We're getting ready to apply for those funds for school year 25-26. We're always a year ahead in the federal programs world. Funding for public pre-K, we have our LA4 funds. We were awarded 170 seats. We were able to fund verify 136 families because they have to be eligible for those seats. And then we also braid our Title I funds to include those families who are slightly above the poverty line that are not eligible for LA4. So we're excited. I know those numbers were not included, but we're at 170 student pre-K, public pre-K students. Any questions? Thank you very much, Dr. B.
Thank you, Ms. Aaron.
For the hard work.
Ms. Hicks, we're gonna save this reading of the,
My son came home the first day of the sticks, and I said, "What's for lunch?" He said, "Sloppy Joes." I don't know if that was positive or negative, so I have no
I'm gonna
feedback.
take it as a positive. Mine is a little bit short and sweet this month. I don't have numbers to report because obviously we have not done claims. We just got started. The most exciting thing in my world is that there is a huge freezer and a huge cooler in my warehouse, and they're both running. In fact, they came and installed racks today, so we've got this double-decker thing going on. Mr. Wascom has a couple of pictures I sent. He'll pull up in a minute. Something exciting for our staff. Bank of Montgomery generously sponsored our back-to-school breakfast when we had professional development, and that was enjoyed by everyone. So thank you, Bank of Montgomery. I'm going to trust Ms. Reba to pass that along to her staff. And so what you're seeing there are both of those units, and that's inside with the racking on it. This doesn't do justice to the actual size of these things. They are just ginormous. So again, I invite you guys to stop by anytime, and I will take you on a little tour. This is streamlined. Not only is our food safe, it's really changed the way we do business at the warehouse. It is just so much easier to count, to keep up with, to load and deliver. I mean, we run 12 restaurants basically, and so our guys are in and out. Now, they have complained a little bit because they said if you get sweaty in the August heat and you walk in moments your shirt will freeze. So it's that cold. But it's a great place if you have a coat that's gotten hot. You can just go sit it on the floor in there, and it's cold almost immediately. So things are going smoothly for us. We are off to a good start, and look forward to the school year. I ordered gumbo this week, so it's coming.
Generator backup.
Yes, the generator should be coming soon. Do you guys have questions for me? Awesome, thank you.
thank you, Ms. Hicks. Mr. Watson, can you please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So I was a little late getting my graphic in, but I'd just like to start off first and foremost by saying thank you to the members of this district and the members of this community who helped us and were patient with us during this kickoff. You know, it didn't go without its problems. But on a startup like this, it's really given me some insight on the shortfalls. I already had an idea of where we were. Now I know exactly where we were. And using this information, we can create better systems moving forward. I would love to meet with members of this district to give us ideas on how we can improve this moving forward, because it's going to start with us We are going to improve, and we are going to push that to the rest of the district. Get all the information that we can give you, all the accurate information that we can give you, and help make your jobs easier, and in turn make ours easier.
Jacob, y'all received the GPS trackers, I think,
We
this week?
did. We
So,
did.
In the process of trying to install those and everything?
Yes, sir. I'm going to get that list to Mr. Kozad. Currently, we are fighting the middle of the summer AC problem, where we have a compressor blow up seems daily. So, in between making sure that all of our kids have AC, and our drivers too, of course, we are going to get these GPSs installed, and that way we'll have a better way for you to track your kids on the route.
So we're still shooting for a September rollout?
Yes, yes.
I called him the second day after school started, and I told him to thank him and thank all the drivers, because as long as I've been on the board, this was the first year I didn't get a complaint about the bus routes. So I told them they did a wonderful job.
And there's one issue that me and Jacob have been working through, and I think we're going to be meeting either end of this week or early next week to look at what Route 55, I think, is the one that we were.
Should be done now.
Oh, yeah, better.
And then what they did last year, they're just going to continue to do this year, and which is take 2 loads from the high school.
Okay.
So yeah, we should have no more issues of students getting left behind at the high school or anywhere really. So, and if ever anything comes up, my district members, people, and please call me.
Yeah.
I'm here. I want to work through any issue that you have, and I will do whatever I can to get that done. So, does anyone else have any more questions for me?
You did say that all the buses are air conditioned.
They all are equipped with air conditioning. We are again fighting this midsummer AC problem, which is, it's in the middle of the summer. If both ACs, the one in the front and in the back, aren't working at 100%, it takes longer to cool the bus. So right now we're fighting, some buses have one AC working, some have none. We are trying to keep all of our students off of our buses without AC. That's not what I want. I don't want any kids out in this 100-degree heat in a tin can. So, and we've actually started our buses that only have one working AC. If we can't get to repairing that compressor or wiring shortage, we are pre-starting them to make sure that the air conditioning is running whenever the driver gets in it, so it doesn't take as long to cool down.
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon.
Ms. Page and Mr. Watson, do you have any additional? All right. Ms. Paul?
Yes, sir. 5, finance, facilities, services, and insurance. 5A, 2024-25 budget adoption, and 23-24 budget adjustments.
Second.
Offered by Ms. Palmer, second by Mr. Page.
Yes, Mr. Brady.
Yeah, I'll defer. There's a problem.
Mr. Nathan, make sure that you got that
I'm proud to present for the first time since I've been here in the month of August, a budget for adoption. It's always been last minute in September, which is the absolute last moment. Obviously, we changed the budget, and I hope y'all are happy. I had the budget resolution up on the thing. I'll be glad to. I'm staying here, and I'll do the podium for the other things, but so that way I can spread out if y'all have any additional questions. This is a copy of the resolution. Would y'all like me to read it into the record? Be glad to. Okay.
We like hearing your.
All right, you like it? So now we know who's offered and seconded. A resolution adopting, finalizing, and implementing the annual operating budget of the Natchitoches Parish School Board for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025. Whereas Dr. Grant Eloy, in his capacity as superintendent of Natchitoches Parish School Board, prepared, with the assistance of Lee Wascom, Director of Business Affairs, a proposed general fund and special revenue fund budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30, 2025, along with the revisions to the budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, which is accompanied by this budget adoption resolution. And whereas the proposed general fund and special revenue fund budget, as shown, annual operating budget documents complies with Bessie Bulletin 1929 and shows the revenues itemized by source and expenditures itemized by object and function as required by Louisiana's RS Statute 39:1305. And whereas the accompanied budget adoption resolution have been submitted to the Natchitoches Parish School Board for review and consideration. And whereas a public notice in the public hearing on the proposed annual operating budget, notice of availability of the proposed budget for review at such hearing, and general summary of the proposed budget have been timely published in the Natchitoches Times. And whereas a public hearing on proposed annual operating budget has now been reviewed and considered. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Natchitoches Parish School Board, by the Natchitoches Parish School Board, the proposed annual operating budget for fiscal 2024-25 and the budget revisions for 23-24 are hereby approved, adopted, and finalized, subject to the following changes. After our last meeting, this is the only change we made. Changed the debt service millage listed on page 34 after being revised by Foley Judell. Be it further resolved that the superintendent of the Natchitoches Parish School Board, Dr. Eloy, and his successor is hereby authorized and in sole discretion to make such changes within the various budget classifications as he may deem necessary, provided that any reallocation of funds affecting in excess of 5% of the budget revenue collections must be approved in advance by the action of the Natchitoches Parish School Board at a meeting duly noticed and convened. Be it further resolved that Dr. Grant Eloy is hereby directed to advise the Natchitoches Parish School Board in writing when total revenues, collections, and other sources plus projected revenues and other sources for the remainder of the year within a fund are failing to meet total budget revenues and other sources by 5% or more. Total expenditures and other uses plus projected expenditures and other uses for the remainder of the year within a fund are exceeding the total budgeted expenditures and other uses by 5% or more. Or the actual beginning fund balance within a fund fails to meet the estimated beginning fund balance by 5% or more, and the fund balance is being used to fund current year expenditures. Be it further resolved that the superintendent of the Natchitoches Parish School Board, Dr. Grant Eloy, or his successor, shall certify completion in all actions required by Louisiana Revised Statute 39:1306 by publishing a notice of the minutes in the meeting in the Natchitoches Times. And then this is the results of the so that is the conclusion of the budget resolution. But once again, we clarified it's both the budget for the next year and the revision of the last year's budget.
Any discussion on the budget? Mr. Wascom has provided a written copy, not electronic, right here at the corner of the table for any board member would like to examine. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Rose. To approve this budget.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McQuarrie?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Prater?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
5B, discuss and consider minor changes needed for the 2024-2025 salary schedule.
I'll offer.
Second.
Do we have a second? Okay. Mr. Wascom, any changes?
There were no changes. Once again, I feel like I'm totally responsible for these changes. These are some minor changes, once again, that are needed, and also some stuff that, with the changes in some of the new positions we've added, we realized they were not on the salary schedule. This clarifies all of that.
So what we discussed last Tuesday?
There have been no changes since last Tuesday.
Roll call vote, Mr. Evans, unless the board member has a discussion on this. Roll call, please.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Frager?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. 5C, accept offer to sell parcel 890113840F4F for $6,700 in cash.
I offer.
Second.
Any further discussion, board members? I think this is a great deal for us. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay.
All right. 5D, discuss and consider lease renewal between the Express School Board and Save the Children for LP Bond Head Start. I'll offer. Second.
So board, after discussing, Mr. McGuire brought it to my attention, he wanted me to look further into this. We sent the lease agreement to Mr. Geis, and the language it uses right now shows that it's for $0, which legally it cannot be for $0. I'm sorry, it can be for $0, but there has to be some value. And so, and so that could be the upkeep or whatever. Also, I think Mr. McGuire was concerned about a 5-year agreement. So the discussion is to maybe do a year-to-year. So if you allow me to table this item, and we will bring it back to you with those revisions for September, and I'll reach out to the Head Start folks and let them know as well.
Ms.
I'll
Palmer,
make a
would you-
motion that we table.
I second. Oh,
We have a motion on the table already, Mr. McGuire, to move on. Ms. Palmer, would you mind changing your motion to table this item?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, Mr. Phelps, the second time?
Yes.
Okay, great. All in favor of tabling this item, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Okay. 5E, discuss and consider MOU between Career Compass of Louisiana and Edge Parish School Board. Jay Gilmore. I'll offer.
Second.
And nothing's changed on that as well since last week.
Any discussion, board members? We love those memo of understandings. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Okay. 5E.
Can we pause for just a second, please?
Sure.
Y'all do the wrong-
Still catching with table?
Not a robot.
Yeah, we're doing 100 and she's doing 50.
Yeah. Okay, the motion on the MOU, the motion and the second was by,
I'll offer it.
the motion was by Chris.
Me.
Ms. Palmer offered, Ms. McGaskey second. Yes, ma'am.
And it was unanimous.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
5F, discuss and consider staff retention stipend funded by ESSER 3 and a dissemination day. I'll offer.
I'll second.
And so, so this is the $700 gross to all employees, and we would want to pay that out. The idea is to pay it out in that September 15th stipend run.
And could we do it in a paper check and hand it out?
Lee, can we do that in a paper check and hand it out?
Do we have to do that though?
No, we don't. I just thought it would be a nice gesture to shake hands with all of our employees and thank them for staying with us.
I think it's a great gesture, but I feel like some employees would be, maybe they can't come by. You know, maybe they have, that may be an inconvenience to some.
It could be.
I tell you what we could do, y'all could write a letter on the day and disseminate it as a board that we could send out to all employees.
That works, so if you're gonna do it,
Like
direct positive.
Okay.
Got them millennials.
Well, I know they like direct deposit. I don't like. They don't like.
I just can't figure why anyone would not like to ride into town and pick up a $700 check.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they're independently wealthy, I don't know.
Some young folks, they don't have bank accounts.
We do want to check
Okay, I'll back off that issue. All right, so we're doing it electronically, we're putting it in your Christmas stocking and.
No. It's fine the way it is,
Okay, guys.
because it's in the attachment.
Any more discussion? We're gonna do it electronically and we're gonna draft a letter, according to, the explanation on the retention stocking. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no.
5G, discuss and consider rescission of award of a mid-size SUV bid to A. Bear G. Chrysler Dodge Brown. I'm sorry, I can see it.
I'll offer.
Second,
Have an offer by Mr. Frady and a second by Ms. Palmer on this item. Discussion. Superintendent Eloy, would you like to do a little background on this?
Yes, sir. So, the two bidders, the last one, the Ford dealership, filed an official, challenge to that. We sent it over to Charles Hardy with, Hamilton Seals, who does all of our property and, bid law. He believes it was ambiguous enough to where he believed that we should honor the challenge. And so this was all done by him. He communicated with both dealers. We feel as though this will be the cleanest way to get out of this kind of, to resolve this matter. And also the Ford dealership has agreed in writing to provide that the vehicle that was in the original proposal, and do that within the timeline.
Okay. Board members, any further discussion on this item? Item G is to rescind the action we took last month and, with A-Bear and, essentially, void that decision. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Rose.
Mr. Dancy?
Yes.
Mr. Metoyer?
Yes.
Mr. Benefiel?
No.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Frager?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
5H, discuss and consider award of did we do that? Oh, there's another one? Okay, discuss and consider award of mid-size SUV bid to Calvin Braxton Ford as lowest responsive bidder.
I'll,
Second.
Okay, offer by Reverend Harris, second by Ms. McGaskey. Superintendent Eloy, can you provide the background on this? In other words, we have voided the action from last month, and
And this is the new action.
we are awarding the bid to Calvin Braxton Ford.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Does anyone have any discussion?
yes, I do. And that's because originally it was about capacity of that particular vehicle. And I don't think nobody on the board quite understood what was actually going on, except for the fact that we were told that, I guess, it was the difference between seats and things like that. But my thing is this: when we're getting more for our bucks, I think that's a no-brainer every time. And I want to be clear about where I stand on this, and that somebody mentioned something about our personal feelings concerning this. I have no axe to grind with nobody one way or the other concerning this. I think everybody on this board want to do what's right. You know, and we have two dealerships who both was in this community and things like that. The superintendent left it up to the board to hash out this particular situation. We didn't have all of the details. So we went by what was presented to. So that's why I want to be clear on where I stand on this.
And I'd like to say, I think a lot of it was, we was letting our personal feelings get involved with spending more of the taxpayer money. I don't care if a person is your enemy. If they're the lower bid and we have checked with our lawyers, that's why we keep lawyers to check with them to see if it's right. That's what we need to go with it. We shouldn't let our personal feelings, because we might not like a person, to keep us from doing the right thing. Because this could have caused us being a lawsuit. A lot of times we'll say, well, it didn't cost us no money because we got insurance, but it still costs us money. When you use the taxpayer money, it might not be our money, but it's taxpayer money. So, you know, when stuff come down with that, and another thing with this whole bid, it was a rush job. You know, we shouldn't rush into nothing. If we're rushing into it, we need to let our lawyers know to make sure we're right before we rush into anything and cause the taxpayers to lose money because of our ignorance.
Board members, any further discussion? Roll call vote, Ms. Williams.
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Abstain.
Mr. Benefield?
No.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Frader?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
That concludes finance.
Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Ms. Page, anything you have, there's nothing there, anything that you might need to add? Okay. Mr. Dancy.
7A, discuss and consider district attorney Express School Board truancy policy. And I'll offer that.
Second.
We have an offer by Mr. Danzy, a second by Mr. McGuire. We covered this in depth Tuesday night. Any further discussion on this? I think this is a very, very strong message by the district attorney that is trying to help us with our truancy and also keep these kids off the street and maybe save some before they go too far down the road, which is a great opportunity.
Only thing I have to say is we had a great meeting with sheriff, city police, truancy officer, Ms. Pinkney, and the DA today. So it's just, I can't say enough about how good this
I
partnership
think
is
it's
already
a
going.
great step forward. Absolutely.
Mr. Robbins, can we have a roll call vote?
Mr. Danzy?
Yes.
Mr. McGuire?
Yes.
Mr. Benefield?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Yes.
Ms. Palmer?
Yes.
Ms. Phelps?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Frader?
Yes.
Mr. Nicholson?
Yes.
And Ms. Page?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item 7B, discuss and consider 24-25 pupil progression plan.
I offer.
Second.
If y'all,
Offered by Mr. McGuire, second by Mr. Fradeau, Superintendent.
if y'all recall, we were going to table that item as well.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, we table it.
Mr. Fradeau, are you okay with changing this?
I rescind and change it to a table.
All in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Board members, any additional information that we, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Dancy.
I defer to you.
Okay, good deal. So, any additional information that we need to cover? Mr. McGuire, do you have a
I
message?
move we adjourn.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Dancy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Thank you, board members.